Hello and good day. It's super exciting that we all get here together. I'm Christine, a senior director at Leapsum, and with me I have Marilyn from WW, one of our valued customers. She's going to introduce herself in a moment, but while we wait for people to enter, maybe you can all just enter into the chat where you're joining us from today, what's your name, and possibly one wish you had that AI could do for you. So me, for example, I wish that AI could read my coffee intake and just have that coffee ready for me whenever I need it. That would be a really cool use case. And today we come together here to learn more about AI and how we can move from chaos into more clarity. And to give you a real life story, I've brought Marilyn here from WW. And would you just like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Anne-Christine. So I'm Marilyn from Bob W, based in Tallinn. And I'm a senior people ops specialist in Bob, which means I'm taking care of almost everything related to people ops for almost 3 years now.
We're super grateful that we have you here today and that you took the time to join us, because you've brought a wonderful story with you, how you've used AI to make your work smarter in a way, and you have some really good use cases. So this is what today is all about, and I hope the audience is going to enjoy this and probably take away some of the insights to explore it for themselves. So let's learn how Marilyn W made HR work more impactful with AI. And to start, can you maybe just walk us through, Marilyn, what did your work look like before you started using AI?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. It's pretty hard to remember because it was such a long time ago. Feels like forever. We actually started using Leapsum as a platform back in 2021 already. So it's been 4 years. But what I do remember and what I have heard, it was very manual. There were lots of documents and spreadsheets and basically copy-paste work as well. Reporting was inconsistent and took hours of time from the people team. Quality of feedback also was not consistent because some managers were great giving feedback and others struggled due to English not being native language and maybe personality as well. And the employees didn't always get the same experience and the same insights from feedback.
Thanks for sharing. So it really affected many different areas, but also everyone in the organization, from managers to end users. What really did help, or what did make you think that AI could help you?
Well, we've always had a very lean people team, still do, so that we thought anything that can save us time and actually give us more space to do something that is impactful and meaningful. And because AI is now present in many things, it's just seemed the natural step.
I think that's a lot of the points that you mentioned is what our audience can relate to, right? Be more efficient, having lean organizations, probably also do more with less. I'd just like to maybe explore a little bit your implementation journey, because now we have the idea, we want to use AI, we have a use case, but getting into the doing, quite often taking the first step, is maybe the most difficult one. So where did you start? Which AI features did you explore first?
We actually started with supporting the reviews so that the AI could help you phrase the review better, and also survey analytics. And the review support, like I mentioned, people have trouble giving feedback. It was a hit among managers and employees because it helped them phrase feedback much more clear and constructive. So it was helpful. And survey analytics was next step. What used to take me sometimes days, if I'm not lying, now takes hours or even minutes sometimes.
Wow. That's super exciting. And I think that's something we can relate to. And also something you mentioned in the beginning, right? People didn't get consistent feedback, because how unfair is that one manager gives you really good actionable feedback and the other one is struggling a bit more with it and maybe can't get it. So that's where you started using AI. And maybe our audience, if you want to put in the chat, can you relate to this? Is that something you also experience in your organization, spending hours and hours maybe on survey analytics and having inconsistent feedback? There's one more thing I want to highlight with BuzzW, because you also really helped us to shape our product. You were one of the first ones who came up to us and say, we need some sort of an AI co-pilot. And that led into what today is known as our Leapy. Can you just tell us what was your intention when you suggested for us to build Leapy, the AI co-pilot?
Yeah, you're right. We were one of the first ones to ask for that. We actually wanted to have a place where we upload some company documents and policies that consist things that are mostly asked about by the employees, so that they can actually ask Leapy instead of chasing the people team for the same answers to the questions they have.
I see. So kind of a self-service knowledge hub instead of going into different sources. And that's something that Leapy, in fact, does quite well. Now, we've learned about where you started with your reviews, your surveys, and Leapy. How did the rollout go? So how did you prepare that? And then as a second question, how did your managers and employees react to that?
Well, actually, I always do that with new features related to HR. I try them out myself, and when it works, then we roll it out, and that's what we did now as well. I was preparing some short video instructions in a Slack channel, and also shared some tips and tricks that made my life easier, and that also made it less scary and less intimidating for the employees to take into use. Managers felt it was a positive change because they felt that this assistant gave them confidence in how the reviews came across and how the employees saw the feedback.
That's really good to hear that managers also kind of took it on quite easily. And I love that you tested it before. I also know you've been in quite some contact possibly with your customer success managers and shared feedback. But do you have 3 tips you want to share with the audience? Like, how do you prepare that change management, that communication? What was something that you really emphasized on that made it then a successful rollout in the end?
Well, I would say that start small. It might sound like it will take more time then, but actually it really makes it easier to introduce new tools and new platforms. Maybe you can start with the review summaries or survey analysis or something that you feel that would make most sense for you. And always explain the why in human terms. So I would even recommend thinking about your most skeptical colleague, somebody who always asks questions, and try to answer their questions already up front. And last tip from me, advocate what you're implementing yourself as well. When people see that you are using it, they're more likely to trust it.
I think that's super valuable. Thanks for sharing. And we'll make sure that we have them also listed somewhere on our Success Center, because that's exactly what we need. Learning from our customers what worked well for them. Now, maybe let's dive a little bit deeper into the whole surveys topic. You've rolled it out, it was used, and now you as the person who before spent days and days in looking through the survey comments and making some analytics. How did AI help you specifically with the survey analytics?
Well, before I was just gathering all the comments. Even though I could download them in an Excel file, it still took me hours and even days to make sense of all the different comments. But now using AI, it is grouping the comments for you, highlighting some themes that you could pay more attention to, and actually even suggesting some action items. In our case, we're still using working groups after every survey to come up with possible solution items. But for me, AI gives me first step that is already saving a ton of time, and then I can take it to the working group and we can come up with something together.
I like that. So basically, you say the AI helps you to recognize patterns, cluster, and then the real strategic work is still laying with the humans, giving you more time to do that. Maybe just a follow-up question. The working groups you mentioned, do they also use AI, or do you prepare an overview that AI has created for you?
I prepare the overview because, well, it's everyone's working time that I'm asking, so I want to make things easier for them. I'm just preparing the overview or the highlights, which, well, I'm not doing alone, but AI is doing partly for me. So, and then I can take it to them. So it takes less time for all of us.
Oh, I'm sure that's appreciated a lot. Now, that sounds super exciting. So you prepare everything, put it into your working groups. And I think we're all curious to learn what effect that really have then overall at your organization now that you have more time to spend on strategic topics.
Well, actually, like just an example from the service topic. Last year, so winter 2024, we had an engagement survey as usual, and a lot of action items like as a follow up. But things got busy, and I got busy, and I was not paying attention to that a lot. But now the last cycle, which was in summer 2025. I used AI and better planning as well. And this cycle had way fewer action items and much higher engagement because we already have completed more than half of the items in the list.
Wow. So direct impact. Did your users feel that as well? Did you get some feedback on that they perceive HR differently now?
Well, I was mentioning this skeptical colleagues that you should also take into account, right? So some of my colleagues have actually said that good job doing what you had promised or doing what was listed in the documents, because it might not always work out, but once people see it like written on a paper or like in a document, they expect this to be done. So that's already one feedback.
That's amazing. It's so true, right? There's nothing worse than doing a survey and doing nothing with the results. That's so frustrating for employees. So super interesting that you had this positive feedback. How does it make you feel actually as a human being, as an HR professional?
It's just the tedious tasks or the admin loads oftentimes on people teams, it takes this off from me, or at least decreases it significantly, so I can focus more on what matters more, which is our people, and I can be more strategical and actually make a bigger impact.
Totally love that. Did that also change the way you work with other departments? Like when we talk about strategic decision making now, with your other C-level colleagues, did that change in any way?
I mean, when we talk about reports, for example, I now have more data to back me up because we had previously data scattered in different platforms, like in different spreadsheets. Now it's mostly in one place. So if somebody's asking something, I can just show them reports. This is how things are, and I don't need to justify as much as I did before.
Oh, that sounds familiar, right? I think we get a really good feeling for our people usually, but then somebody's always going to ask, show me the numbers. And now you can do that. We spoke a lot now about surveys a bit, maybe also put a bit of emphasis on the impact that AI and reviews had for you. We got a little bit of a hint of how it helped managers to be more confident, but maybe you can just talk us through one or two examples of where you really saw a change AI made for you in the reviews.
Well, actually, myself as well. I'm one of these people who has sometimes struggled to give feedback. Receiving is not as hard, but giving feedback is something I'm struggling with. So even I'm using and really taking advantage of the assistant to help me gather my thoughts and actually put them in a eatable form.
Oh, and there we go back to what you said earlier, right? Advocate and live what you roll out yourself. What was the impact on your employees? Did they share any feedback on the quality of the feedback that has changed?
When I have sometimes some catch-ups with them, then I have heard, or during exit meetings, for example, when people leave, I've heard that one thing that they appreciate is constructive feedback that most people get from their managers. And this is not, of course, not only during the reviews, which is twice a year, but overall during the one-to-one meetings and every documented piece of feedback they have found helpful.
I think here I really have to pause a moment and praise you, Marilyn. It sounds like apart from being more efficient and getting high quality, you've also managed to really establish a super good feedback culture in your team where people are craving that constructive feedback and they're saying like it helped me so much more to develop. I mean, I think that's what we're all striving for. And maybe we should connect with you afterwards to learn more of how exactly you did this. But I always think it's amazing when I hear these stories. It makes me quite emotional to a degree, because that's what we're all here for at the end of the day. Now we've spoken quite a bit on the past and how you get started with AI and what the impact was, but let's maybe take a few minutes to look into the future. What AI features are you excited about that might come or already there?
Yeah, well, I mean, if one could dream, life would be much easier. But actually, I just noticed in Lipsam that the AI assistant for reviews is available, and also the transcript tool for meeting notes. I enabled it for myself and the managers in the company. Quite excited to try this out. I have some meetings upcoming in the next few days, so I can already test it. And also because we have a review cycle upcoming in a few weeks, then excited to test this out before as well. So possibly we can roll it out for all the employees.
That is
yeah. If we talk about further than just the reviews and meetings, because we're using the HRIS as well, then I myself am particularly excited about automating some workflows for onboarding and also reporting, because even though it's much easier, it's still sometimes a headache. So I would love some automation and AI assistance there for like absence tracking or some other HR relevant reports.
Thanks for sharing. Indeed, maybe going through them one by one. The review assist for the audience, the people who are watching us now and who might not know what that is. Maybe a quick voiceover what we've released there. Really a short time ago only. So if you have your reviews, you would have your skills and your levels and your questions in the platform already. And what our review assist now does is it's going to take you through a kind of conversation, and you can even use voice. You can actually talk to it. So you would say like, Marilyn performed beautifully on stage, and then it would ask you, what impact did this have? And would say like, it impacted and inspired lots of people who watched this, who now can also benefit from some of the ideas she shared, for example, in change management and so on. So we'll take you through. And what the AI assistant does, it maps the answers we give to the skills and questions that you have. And like this, it kind of auto fills your review talk while you just get inspired to think deeper and get even more constructive feedback or share really the impact. So in this case, Marilyn could also really know like, wow, I was great, and this is the impact it had, rather than just saying it was great what she did. And I think that's quite powerful. And I think going into your theme, Marilyn, with your managers, I'm very curious to hear your feedback, what they're going to say now that you already had the first steps in making the feedback more consistent. I wonder if they find this also easier now and saving them time in writing it. You also spoke about the meeting transcript for our audience. Basically what it does, it records the meetings and then puts the content in the sections that you have to find. For example, says some action items or open questions that might still be there. How do you think, Marilyn, that will impact your daily work once you do roll it out?
Well, because most of the meetings that I have that are not between myself and my manager are exit meetings, and this is something why I'm planning to try it out is because I want to be more present. I want to actually hear the employee out, even though it's an exit meeting. It's still important to get feedback, but it's hard to be present like in both roles, taking the notes so that it will make sense and I would actually understand the notes later on, and actively listening. So I'm hoping that the AI will help me take the notes on behalf of me, and I can be more present with the employee.
That's a really good use case. I love this for exit interviews because it is important that we understand what's happening and we're still present for our employees. And I think it might inspire some of our listeners and viewers here just as much. You mentioned also the workflows. That's of course something we want to be, or our vision is to be the people-centric AI first company operating system going forward. And exactly what you said, having some AI almost magic to create reports for what you need at the touch of a button is something we are looking at. So watch the space, and I'm sure Merlin, you're going to share some feedback with us again, like you did with Leapy, so we can develop some great things together. As we are kind of coming to the last section of this wonderful webinar, what advice would you give HR teams who are just starting out with AI? They might not know where to even go.
I mean, a lot of self-research, of course, it comes quite naturally to me. Well, maybe it's part of like culture, heritage as well to first search and then things yourself and not ask help from other people. But a lot of self-research, trying things out yourself, and not be afraid of AI, because I know it can be intimidating, but I don't think that AI would take HR work like over completely. It's more, at least for me, it's more helping to decrease the repetitive tasks and the admin load, but I actually still have to maintain critical thinking and be curious enough to use the AI and not have it done all the work for me.
I think that's a super important point, right? That we say AI is there to make our lives easier and the impact we create even bigger, because we can do more of the things that really matter. You also said like sometimes we don't ask for help, which I think is probably true because we try to find it ourselves. But did you have any help in your organization, maybe another department that already had started with AI?
Well, our engineering team is a good example. They definitely have implemented AI tools and then features in many of the platforms that we use. So sometimes I can ask some things from them, but with Leapsum, actually the case is I think I'm the most experienced user, so they come to me sometimes as well. So if they don't figure it out themselves.
Oh, wow. That's a nice collaboration. First of all, shout out to all our engineers. They're doing a great job, and I'm sure they got a lot of knowledge to share. So whoever's viewing now or watching the recording, don't feel shy. I mean, they got a lot of knowledge. So let's ask for help. I think sometimes that was a very good pointer, Merlin, that why not? Let's just go. And then if they even come to ask you, I think how nice is that? What beautiful collaboration do we have there? You also mentioned something about the terms of don't be afraid. Do you have any special tactic that helps you to not be afraid, but also that you share with your employees to not be afraid and just dive into it?
I guess testing. I mean, for me, that what works is like I'm not rolling out anything myself, rolling out anything before testing it extensively myself, and once I'm sure that it's working, then I feel confident doing it. I mean, of course, I am still open to feedback, and sometimes some technical glitches happen, which is definitely the case in my work as well. But I think it's partly also stepping out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting indeed. Like to just get going. Do you have something like ask me anything questions, or people can come to you with help when they're not quite sure how something works? Is there some system in place?
You mean like an assistant or?
Like some assistants, like say you're going to roll out your review assistant now. Is there some sort where employees can go to and ask a question like, I'm not sure, I'm doing this right, or?
Well, they oftentimes come to me, but I also have created knowledge base for certain tools that HR is using in Confluence, and I have encouraged them to use the chat box, which gets the data from the help center in Lipsum. So I think it's a mix of sources that they use.
Right. That's also another good shout out. Having a knowledge base somewhere people can access, but also do use our platform internal, we call him Finn, chat assist. He's really good. You can ask him questions, get you really good resources. And if Finn can't get you the answer, they will get you straight to a support agent who also do a fantastic job. Here, shout out to our care team who take care of our customers and their technical requests. And I love that you say, Marilyn, everybody should just use that. I mean, it's not for the admins to figure it out. It's a lot more. I think that's also part of what AI can do. And would you agree that we empower our employees to do more and take more responsibility for their careers, like how they're going to get feedback, for example, but also how they're going to find information? How do you think about this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being resourceful is I think, one of the most critical features or personality traits someone can have in this era.
Wonderful. Let's see, what have we discussed today? We found out how you started before. I think it was spreadsheets and Google Docs. Is that correct? Before you had any Lipsum or AI?
Yeah. Ages ago, we were just doing things manually.
And I think there's lots of people still out there who just operate like you did today, because you know what, it kind of works and it's okay and you get used to this. And then you were brave enough to go into the AI world quite early on, actually. That's for ours. So a shout out to you there. And you've explored how AI can help you to decrease the repetitive work and give you more time to have more strategic impact. And what I loved about your story is that it really impacted the managers who feel more confident now, but also they can give better feedback, for example, how it impacted your working groups with the surveys, so they can really make sure the action items get tackled. So no more asking surveys and not acting on half the things that you probably should act on. And I'm sure that's being much appreciated. Also, you've shared some really great tips with us on how you're going to roll out, how you're going to go about change management. And because I found those super important nuggets, let me just repeat them. It was like, start small, start with baby steps, kind of start with something that's easy for you, like summaries. Always start with a why in your communication, like share why you're doing this and what is in it for the employees. And then create advocates, but also live by it yourself. So thank you very much for this. Did I forget anything important in that? Just to wrap up, Marilyn?
No, I think you said all the most important things.
So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I think this all shows how AI really supports HR and makes them more visible, more impactful, giving you more time to be more strategic. That's what we learned. And I love to hear this story from you. I also love to get your feedback always from how we can make our product even better, so you get more out of it. But it also shows, and it goes back to what you said before, start with small steps, how starting with a small step can have such an impact. It's a bit like building on Lego bricks or constructing something. You take one piece and you put another one on and another one on, and then in the end you've got a beautiful structure and you have something quite beautiful that made your lives easier. So if there's one takeaway, we should all start. We should start small and then focus where AI matters, so that we can have the human interaction where we have the most impact. It's super nice having you here, Marilyn. If our viewers now would like to learn a little bit more about Lipsum, AI, and HRIS, we'll put a link for you in our chat with a live demo in our theater where you can learn more. Of course, if you're interested, you can always reach out to us, get a demo, get a walk through. Connect with Marilyn if you want to learn more about how to create better feedback, how to go with AI, learn more about them. You're also welcome to reach out to any of us at Lipsum. Thank you so much for all your attention. And we're wishing you a beautiful rest of the day. Thanks so much, Marilyn, for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting. It was a pleasure.